Eddie. Evergreen followed the compass as it guided them forward. Followed the compass as it guided him out of the dark woods. The silver needle glowed steadily, pulling him and his friend, Harper Lane, toward higher ground. Harper walked nearby, watching the terrain closely while noting details on her tablet. The one who made sense of the digital breadcrumbs left behind. While Eddie followed the analog magic of his grandfather's compass. They were a team, united by a mystery that had started with a cryptic letter and a key. The trail climbed steadily, the thick canopy of the forest beginning to thin. Sunlight broke through in long, dusty rays, illuminating their path. And then they saw it, no lookout tower, standing against the sky like a forgotten sentinel. The wooden structure was crooked and weathered, its steps cracked and worn by years of wind and rain, but it looked climbable. As soon as Eddie's foot touched the first stair, the compass in his hand vibrated with a soft, persistent hum. "2. This place matters," Harper said, her voice filled with a quiet excitement. She was already recording, her tablet capturing every detail of the decaying structure. Whatever your grandfather was doing, this tower was part of it. They climbed carefully, the old wood groaning under their weight. At the top, a breathtaking panorama unfolded. Thoris stretched out like a vast green ocean, rolling over hills and disappearing into the hazy distance. It was beautiful, but also intimidating. They were just two kids in the middle of an immense wilderness, following a trail left by a man they were only just beginning to understand. Eddie rested the compass on the dusty railing. Its glow intensified, pulsing with a gentle rhythm and casting a warm light across the floor of the small observation room. The air was thick with the smell of old wood and forgotten memories. Harper, ever the sharp-eyed observer, knelt near an overturned crate. She spotted something wedged between the floorboards. With delicate fingers, she pulled out a folded piece of paper, yellowed and brittle with age. She unfolded it carefully, revealing lines of numbers written in a tight, deliberate pattern. Her eyes widened. "These are coordinates," she breathed. "And they're not random. There's a sequence here." As Eddie leaned in to look, a sudden, powerful gust of wind rattled the entire tower, making the old structure shudder. The sound was startling, like a sudden shout in a quiet library. A loose drawer in a battered old ranger desk slid open from the vibration, and a small metal box dropped onto the floor with a sharp metallic clang. They both froze, staring at it. The box was heavy, sealed tight, and on its lid was the same spiral symbol they had found etched into a stone marker earlier that day. Eddie picked it up, turning it over in his hands. He tried to pry it open, but it wouldn't budge. It was locked, but there was no visible keyhole. Harper looked from the box to the coordinates in her hand, her mind racing. "You left this here," she said, piecing it together. He knew someone would find it. The box and the numbers. They belong together. One is the lock, the other is the key. At that moment, the compass needle, which had been spinning erratically, steadied itself. It locked firmly, pointing toward a distant section of forest, far beyond the tower. The path forward was clear. Eddie slipped the heavy metal box into his backpack, the weight of it a solid promise of answers to come. "Then that's where we go next," he said, his voice firm with new resolve. Below them, the forest waited, a silent guardian of secrets. It held another piece of the trail his grandfather had so carefully prepared. Another chapter in a story that was just beginning to unfold. They didn't know what they would find, but they knew they had to follow the compass, wherever it might lead. The adventure was far from over.